First question is, what key life experiences have formed who you are today?
I was in an artistic family. My dad was a sculptor and my mother was an oil painter and watercolorist. Another influence for me was I hiked the Appalachian Trail end to end from Georgia to Maine twice, once in '77 and then again in '86. So living on the Appalachian Trail for 5.5 months, was a big impression on me.
How did you become passionate and involved in design?
But when I started out, when I was, out of high school and stuff, I was always interested in realism, like most college kids, age kids. You're mostly into realistic stuff. You want to see everything, super detailed, a lot of realism. And I was doing decorative carving, wood carvings of birds, carving of individual feathers, and doing very realistic carvings of wildlife, and doing little caricatures, the typical wood carving kind of stuff. And then as I got older, I got more into the design of it. My dad worked at a design company called Vision and Design, and me watching the designer there and the stuff that he was doing really got me psyched into doing more design-oriented things. And as I've gotten older, I've gotten more into design and abstract.
What are your core values and how are they reflected in your practice?
In my artwork, I always want to do something uplifting. I don't do political stuff or anything like that. I like to do something that's going to be uplifting. And I also try to do the best quality work that I can do. And I've tried to go and, I went to college, and that's good for theory and stuff like that. But if you really want to know how to actually carve stone or do welding or do something, you got to go where the people that do it for a living do it and learn from them.
What would you say your design process is?
I'll have a first impression of what I want to do, and I'll do a drawing of that. And then I'll say, well, let's take and push it. What if I do this? And what if I do that? And just keep pushing the drawing. And you may come up with something better than your first drawing, or sometimes you go back to the first drawing. But it always starts with drawings. And then since drawing is a two-dimensional image, I got to see, as a sculptor, I got to see all three sides and what it looks like from the top. So then I do a clay maquette, or I do something out of urethane foam. So that helps me work out the three-dimensional parts. And it also gives my client an idea what it's really going to look like, because just looking at a drawing, people really don't get it. I mean, I worked at Fisher Price, in industry, and they could see a drawing, but they really couldn't see the three-dimensional part of it. So unless you showed them something three-dimensional, even the designer there really couldn't get it. So you really need to give them something three-dimensional to look at.
How do you collaborate with others to realize your impactful work?
I don't get a chance to do a lot of collaborations. I love to do that because oftentimes they end up with more interesting ideas than you ever had, and they push you and you push them. And so I like a collaboration, but I'm a one-man studio, so I don't get the chance to do a lot of collaboration, but I love to do it when I get a chance.
Where do you think design is going?
Everything has just gone digital. I worked with Fisher Price for 20 years as a model maker. Of course, I did it all by hand back then. And then at a certain point, the company says everything in the whole company has got to be digital. And nowadays, if you're not plugged into digital 3D scanning and printing and the 3D graphics and stuff, I mean, you're just lost.
What are the biggest challenges that you face?
Right now in my studio, just a lack of space. I wish I had a bigger space. I could do bigger things, and that's one. And of course, getting commissions, to just make enough money to live on. Of course, that's another.
What advice would you give to a young student?
Everybody's got talent. There's a lot of people with an awful lot of talent, but it's only the ones that actually stick it out and go through the hard times and the poor times with no money and everything else. And they're the ones that actually make it. There's a lot of people with talent, but there's not that many that actually get to do what they really want to do in art. But eventually you start to develop your own style. And once you have your own style, then you have your own identity. And then you can go from there.